Hey YouTube, going back to a bit more usual fare today. This is another obscure Japanese guitar no one's ever heard of that are totally awesome, and once people find about them, they won't be cheap anymore. This is a 1983 Washburn Force 2. Kind of my pals reckon it reminds me a bit of like a Fender Lead 1, and I've noticed just this year they've re-released the Lead 1 and Lead 2, or Lead 2 and Lead 3 I think they've done. I think Lead 2 maybe, because it's got 3 pickups, or Lead 3 has got 2 pickups, whatever it is. So it kind of looks a wee bit like a Fender Lead. What it is actually, because I noticed this before because I've got a bass version of it, it is, the outline of it is exactly a Stratocaster. Like if you were to take the silhouette of it, apart from the cutaways much deeper. But from, so if you imagine a Strat's kind of a bit less deeply cut in. Yeah, so this is it's a very pretty guitar. It's maybe a little bit plain for me. It's not quite got the extreme shapes as quite a lot of the other ones I do. But I don't know if you can see, it's made of it's got a sort of matte varnishy type finish from the era. Very pretty. You can see there how the neck joint works. So the neck goes away in here somewhere. So that's how you get ridiculous high fret access, and there's no heel either. So the neck is a very inefficient way of doing it. The neck is this long. On a Strat it would just be this long, so that's how they've got round. The other thing I think, or I don't know how much of this is just how it feels like the neck's shorter, but I think it's just the neck's further into the body. Like I think on a Strat this gap here is bigger, so the bridge would be a bit higher up here, and then the neck would, instead of starting here, would start here. So when you're sitting holding it, it seems very close. It really feels that the first fret should be sort of here, sort of thing. But it's full scale, 25.5 inch scale. I said 1983, made by, not really sure. I was very much under the impression that this, if you're following my mad the Washburn stuff, up to 1983, Washburns were made by Yamaki, and then Yamaki went under and they were taken over by Chushin. I thought this was a Chushin one, but now I've maybe changed my mind. 83. It seems to have a very similar serial number. In fact, I'll have a look at it right now, to my A5, which is the same era. So it's 831949, 83509. It's a similar. So I'm pretty sure this one's a Yamaki, so I think this might be as well. Now, I wasn't sure up to then. My reason for thinking against it is because I've actually got a Force 2. Nope, this is a Force 2. I've actually got a Force 3 guitar, which is a much deeper V neck profile on it, and I think it's a bit older. It doesn't have a serial number, so I figured I don't know, maybe it's a bit later and this is a bit earlier. I'm not really sure. So it's got the V neck profile, but it's not nearly as pronounced as it is on the A5. The V on these things stands for vibrato, not V neck profile, in case you ever see an A5V or an A10V. It's not, the V doesn't respond to the neck profile. So the neck is absolutely stunning. It might be, well, it's not, it's definitely a separate fingerboard because there's no skunk stripe. So it's a separate fingerboard. That's only 21 frets, isn't it? 15, 17, 19, only 21 frets. These are, I believe, the power sustain pickups, which are the same as the ones in the Stage series, and this is the bridge, which you get on the Falcons and the A10V and all these. So it's kind of like, it's got the same saddles as the harmonic lock bridge, but it doesn't have the clamps either side, and it's a two spring Stratocaster type affair. And this one actually has the original tremolo arm. This guitar has a little bit of history to it. I didn't know this when I bought it, but when I got it back, when I got it through, I kind of noticed who I'd bought it off. I bought it off the estate of, I mentioned this yesterday, Jeffrey Hughes, not Jeffrey Holmes. I don't know who Jeffrey Holmes is. Jeffrey Hughes is, he used to play Onslow in Keeping Up Appearances, the sort of, the good guy, the funny guy in it, and I think he was all over Heartbeat. He might have been in Coronation Street or EastEnders for a bit. He was in Doctor Who, in Trial of a Time Lord, so that's me thinking, great. And he bought this new in 1983, whatever, and if I looked up his Wikipedia page, unfortunately he died. That was why I was buying stuff from his estate. And he was apparently on his spare time he liked playing in the pub band, blues band. So this was his guitar when he was in Trial of a Time Lord. It's like, yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's been very well looked after. There's a wee bit of scuffing there. You know, this has got playware, but no abuse wear. Even came in its original case, which is pretty rare for me to get a guitar that's still got its original case. So that might explain why it's so nicely done. It's also been shielded with tinfoil, not proper shielding stuff, tinfoil at some point. So I don't know why he did that. So enough about Jeffrey. He was also famously did the voice of Paul McCartney in the Yellow Submarine film. So it's got a Beatles link. So I could play some. I'm wearing my yellow t-shirt, so I could play some Yellow Submarine on this if I knew how to play any of it. So it's just got a 3-way switch, a volume and a tone, 2 humbuckers. I was expecting. I was sitting there trying to pull the pots up, thinking it's going to have a coil split, but it doesn't. I might fit one because I could do that without damage. It's just because it's such a nice original condition. I kind of don't want to do anything to it, even though, you know, like a coil split, you can reverse it quite easily. Especially if I put it in a push-pull pot, you know, I don't need to drill any extra holes in like that. Put the rat pedal on, so I can maybe put a wee bit of clean, seeing as it's a sort of Stratocaster-y type affair. So neck pickup, both. Bridge. And I'd basically only ever really use single coils clean, so I'll put on my newly discovered slight distortion, which is using the distortion channel in the amp to put a wee bit of dirt on it. More distortion. Rat pedal. And I don't know if you noticed what happened there. What happened was I was using the slightly distorted channel on the amp when I put the rhythm track in, and then when I turned the distortion off, it went to the clean channel because it's so it was after what the loop pedal was recording, so that's a mistake I'm going to try not to make again. But this is a lovely guitar, really is. The only thing I think is really missing from it is it doesn't have a forearm contour, so it kind of feels a bit like a telly. A wee bit, it's a bit sort of, it's quite a rounded edge, but it doesn't have the big cutaway that a Strat does to make it comfier, so it's got a sort of bit more feel to it. I'm going to take this into the studio next week. But I just love the V-neck. This one's is less V than the A10, the A series ones, the stage series. But it feels so small. It's like it's really, really thin when you get to the edge here, because it's got the bulk of it's in the sort of triangular section. It's a really, really small and comfortable neck to play. Perhaps too small. And then the other thing about the neck being slightly shorter or it feels slightly shorter because it's shunted more into the body, kind of feels a bit weird as well. But nice guitar. A bit more grown up than what I'm normally playing, I think. I'm finding myself playing a little bit more tastefully. It's a really nice trem as well. Yeah, so these guitars, I'm not sure exactly when they came out. I don't think they were there for the very start of the Yamaki runs when you had the Wings and the Stage series, but they came out somewhere after that before they moved to Chushin. I think this possibly is a Yamaki one. It's just really nice. It's got the George Washburn branded tuners. Look at the condition of it. It's got a bullet truss rods, best kind of truss rod you can get because you can actually see when you put the Allen key in. It's maybe not the prettiest one, but it's just the best. That nut does look original, just white plastic. These, which I think are, I'm not sure about these exact ones, whether they're exactly the same as an Ibanez Super 70, but that's what's in the Wings, so I think they might be Ibanez Super 70s. They won't be branded in the back though. Sort of super distortion, DiMarzio super distortion. We've got the 2 adjustment screws. It's a really quite a modern finish in this. You can actually see the grain. It's a sort of satin finish. This hasn't been refinished. In fact, actually looking at it, it's in amazing condition. It really is. And it's just the fact that you can see the grain. You can actually see the grain physically through the. If I can get the light to hit off it right, it's like. I'm pretty sure you get more modern. This kind of looks a wee bit like one of your, when you buy sort of handmade custom jobs. I can see them producing something like this, because you can argue that this is better than it's a more efficient design than a Strat, because you can get higher up the fretboard. It doesn't have the heel. It's probably a bit more expensive to make than a Strat because the neck has to be longer. The headstock's a sort of Telecaster maybe. I don't know, but the Force series continued on because you get these from Chushin. You get a BBR one, which is a red binding. It's all black with red binding and red writing on the pickups and all these things. So this kind of made it through that period. But the Force series stopped looking like this. There is another one actually. There's the one that Wayne in Wayne's World plays. Is sort of this. It's another Force series, but it's kind of slightly after this. It's got a hockey stick headstock, which is, should do this one again, a headstock like that, and I don't think exactly the same shape, but they're not called the Force. Well, this is a Force 2. They're called Force series, but they're called the G something. So you get like, they became the G1 and the G10. I've got a G15, which are slightly, that's even later still. It's like 87 or something like that. They're a bit more stratty. It's basically just a super strat then, but they're still called the Force series, even though they don't say Force in headstock. So there's some confusion in there. They obviously like the idea of calling it Force. So I've got this one being the Force 2. I've got a Force 3, which is think about being more like a Strat, so it's got 3 single coil pickups. I've got a Force 4 in bits, which I've still not fixed. I've had for a couple of years now. It's a bass. And I've got another Force 2 with just one humbucker, which is annoying because I always thought it should have been a Force 1. That would just have made it perfect. That would have meant I had the 1, 2, 3, 4. But no, I've got a Force 2, which is ultimately very much the same guitar as this, apart from just got the one pickup and like one volume control. I have actually used that one in the studio. There was actually one of these for sale. I don't think it's still there on eBay for like a year, and the guy was looking for like 120 quid for it or something like that, and I don't know why nobody was buying it. Really, it's like, see if this was just, if it was Strat shaped and from this era made in Japan in this quality, it'd be $1,000, but it's not Strat shaped, it's a slightly odd shape. And I think this partial confusion with later on Washburns, you know, I think Washburn did the same as, I don't think Ibanez really did, but Washburn and Aria Pro did this thing, whereas if you're sort of maybe my age and a wee bit older, you remember the shop's been absolutely stocked with Aria Pros and Washburns that were cheap and not particularly good, whereas this is before that era. This is the golden age of Japanese guitar building. Something to do with exchange rates, so you could pick up a guitar like this for, you know, half the price of a Fender Strat, and it's a better guitar. Like, unarguably in every single aspect, it's a better guitar. But it was half the price. And the thing is, if at the time the smart person would have gone, but this is a much better guitar, I'll buy this one. Whereas you could have bought the 83s, you're talking about a JV Squire, something like that. So it's, you know, and if you look up a JV Squire, you'll find out that they are worth $1,000. So if the correct choice at the time, as you were going to keep it and sell it, would be to buy the Squire one, not this one. But this is still a better guitar. And JV Squires I've played a few of them. They are pretty good. They are at this level as opposed to being usual Squire level. Yep. So just now I'm playing through my usual rack. I've got this looked out. I'm going to do a wee video on modelling versus tubey. So I'm using my Laney VC15 and it's running through this 3x12 cabinet just because I've got the 3x12 cabinet. It sounds lovely. It's nice when you get a guitar that's obviously been very well looked after, especially looked after by someone who I'm a fan of, let's be honest. I can't have to say I didn't know what his name was, but he's the best bit in Keeping Up Appearances, the only reason I used to watch it, and he's in Trial of a Time Lord, Doctor Who. One of my favourite episodes. That's right. much easier to get high up the fretboard in this as a Strat. I can actually play this guitar without really struggling up in the sort of 15th, 17th. I'm not sure it's held tuned quite brilliantly there. Again, testament to Elixir Strings. I mean, I haven't played this guitar in at least 2 years. Been sitting in its case, and just gave the strings a wee bit of a wipe, and they're still playing. So that's why I use Elixir Strings. This guitar is another one of my criminally underplayed series. It's also been sitting upstairs in the cold. So the tuning, it was in tune with itself when I picked it up, and it was all very sharp. I think the strings contract in the cold. So the whole guitar slipped down a little bit. Such a small neck when you're down here. Seems normal up here, but down here it's just absolutely. I mean, I can get my thumb right over it and play an A chord with the thumb. Yeah, so I'm liking this guitar an awful lot more than I was 2 hours ago before I went and picked it up. It's really nice. I think really the only downside I can see from it is the fact it's maybe not the most exciting looking guitar. It does look quite quality though. It's a nice colour. It's just, you know, if it had been sparkly or spiky like the ones I kind of like to show off with, this is just a good solid guitar. I don't really know what it sits. It's not. I wouldn't really say it's a Strat because it's got the two humbuckers, but it's definitely got a Fendery feel to it. And I just love maple necks. Maple necks are the best. Yeah, I didn't really have much of a jam at the end. I got talked during most of that, but there you go. So, Washburn Force 2, 1983. Japan. I think now Yamaki made, possibly, but possibly Chushin if it's not. Rocking.